In the following interview, we'll talk to Shane Foster, veteran of the Turkish Basketball League, in order to gain some insights into what it's like playing in the league. Foster had an illustrious playing career. He began at Vanderbilt University, where he was a 4-year starter, starting over 130 games and averaged 15 points per game throughout his career. In 2008, he had a breakout season, winning SEC Player of the Year and second-team All-American honors, which essentially meant he was one of the top 10 college basketball players in that season. Because of his tremendous 2008 campaign, along with illustrious career in general, he was chosen 51st overall in the NBA draft by the Dallas Mavericks. Throughout his 6-year NBA playing career, he played in the NBA, the G League, the Italian League, and the Basketball Super League in Turkey. Through our interview, we hope to gain insight into the different aspects of the Turkish Basketball League that have allowed it its continued success over the past several seasons. Throughout your playing career, you played in several countries, including Italy, Belgium, Turkey, and the United States. How would you say playing in the Turkish Basketball League assisted your development as a basketball player and helped you along your professional basketball career?
It was a very interesting time being in Turkey because while we were in Turkey and playing in the Turkish League, our head coach at the time was a gentleman who had coached in the United States as well as in Australia and had brought some unique kind of perspectives to coaching. He was a phenomenal guy and got a chance to really learn a lot from him and learn a lot from the other players. The Turkish League is a very physical league, but it's my teammates there were phenomenal guys, and I had a chance to really bond with them and learn a lot from them, both professionally and personally.
Over the past several years, there has been an unprecedented rise in both competition level and popularity level of the Turkish Basketball League. Clearly, basketball is becoming more prominent and important in Turkish culture. What factors would you say have led to this rise in the Turkish Basketball League?
Well, everything starts and stops with the product that you're able to put on the floor. And I think a lot of it has to do with the Turkish players that have been able to come into the NBA and do well and garnish a lot of attention. And then all that does is really elevate the level of basketball back in that country. And then I think when those teams are able to recruit really high-level players from everywhere around the world, that makes a difference as well.
You describe the role of international players in the Turkish Basketball League. Is the Turkish Basketball League mostly composed of domestic players or international players? Also, how do these international players affect the competitive balance and the entertainment value of the league?
Players that are going overseas are the players that either were drafted in the NBA and for whatever reason, ended up playing overseas, or guys that didn't get drafted but were just as good and still hungry to build a career. And a lot of them have aspirations of getting back to the NBA. It's also a farm league for their young Turkish players to be able to play in a professional league from really young age and have an opportunity to get drafted as well. So there's a lot of positives that are there as it relates to them being able to grow that league, to be able to grow the exposure. And then as technology continues to improve, then there's opportunity for more deals to be done from a TV, from a media package standpoint. But at the end of the day, it all starts and stops with the product that they're putting on the floor.
So generally, the most competitive players in the Turkish Basketball League are the international players. Naturally, this may leave a diminished role for domestic players. What role would you say domestic players have in the Turkish Basketball League?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a commitment the country makes to make sure that they're always elevating their own players. And I think that's important because there's a sense of community that you're able to have when you have homegrown players that are able to play on those professional teams and do well. There's always some camaraderie there.
As a league composed of players from all around the world, Turkish basketball teams tend to be very diverse in nature, having several players from different countries and different backgrounds. How did this difference in culture among players affect the interactions and relationships you built during your time in Turkey?
So it's an incredible bonding moment that you're able to have. Of course, there's some language barriers barriers. But for the most part, around the sport, the majority of people speak English as well. It may not be their first language, but the majority of them speak English.
Right.
And so there's an opportunity to really be able to get some camaraderie and build some relationships there. And it turns into lifelong friendships. You know, I still keep in touch with some of the players that I've played with in multiple countries, and as well as some of the fans. And it's really an incredible experience.
Aside from playing basketball, what was the most memorable thing about your experience in living in Turkey? Also, in which ways were you able to interact with the Turkish culture during your time there?
Well, I absolutely loved living on the beach by the Mediterranean Sea. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, I bet. That sounds great.
That was pretty awesome, and then getting a chance to experience a lot of the culture there as we were able to travel a little bit and see a lot of the great mosques that are there, experience some of the religious holidays and how they practice their religion there. I thought that was a very unique experience.